everybody, it's Pina here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. In today's video I'm going to show you how to do this really sweet little bluebell. It's very pretty. It's got two little leaves, some little stems coming out, and it's a very nice embellishment. You can use it for a brooch, you can use it for a key ring, you can use it for anything you want really. You can even use it as a decoration to picture frame or anything, and make loads of these. They're absolutely stunning, these little bluebells. Now you can do it in any colour you want. I've done it in this very pale lilac colour. You can do it in a deeper blue or a deeper purpley colour. It's up to you, but I like this colour actually, and I thought it was quite nice. And for this, it's quite a simple, very simple and very quick little project to do. And I'm just going to put that aside a moment, and I'm going to show you what you're going to need for that. You're going to need a 3mm hook. Okay, you're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a needle for your ends. You're going to need a stitch marker. I mean, you don't have to use a stitch marker, but I like to mark my rows. So because we're working in the round, this is perfect for that. So a stitch marker, and of course your yarn. Now for the yarn, you're going to need two colours. I've got this Kiwi green and this wonderful lilac, and of course you can use a purple or a darker kind of lilac, whichever colour you want really for these bluebells. Now this yarn I've used is cotton. It's a mercerised 100% DK cotton, mercerised, and I'll put the colours and the make in the description below. I use this very often for a lot of my flower projects, so they are perfect for that. They give it a little sheen as well. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but this has got a tiny bit of a sheen on it, which is quite pretty. So I'm just going to show you now. Let's get started. I'm going to show you now how to make this wonderful little flower. There you go. Another thing you might need, which is not essential for the back, is a glue gun. This helps keep everything together at the back. So when you've sewn your ends in at the back, I always like to dab a little bit of glue just to seal it, and it works pretty well. And especially if you're going to use it as an embellishment on an item and you want to stick that down onto something, you know, you're going to need a bit of glue behind there anyway. So that's perfect, and I'm just going to show you now how we start this. So let's pop that aside. Now to start this, what we're going to do is grab our hook, and I'm going to grab my lilac yarn to start with. So for this, we're going to do a magic ring. Now, as you'll be accustomed to a magic ring, some of you, but some of you might not, I'm just going to show you how to do a magic ring. So let's just put that aside. So you just sort of get your yarn and you put it across two fingers and then crisscross it over like so. Grab your hook underneath, pull up a loop like so, pinch that and let go. So once you've let go, just take the main strand, not the tail end, and you've got this big loop, big loop and small loop. Now you need to sort of chain one, and that's your magic ring. Now I'm just going to pull that a little bit tighter with the tail end, as you can see. And now what we're going to do, we're going to single crochet 8 into this ring. So single crochet is, as you probably know, is insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So I've done 3 now. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you wanted this flower to be, this bluebell flower to be a bit larger, just increase your hook size, and that will make it a bit larger. So, you know, I like it it's a miniature one, so I don't want a big hook for this one. So anyway, so we've done the 8 single crochets into the ring. We're now going to pull that tight. Okay, so pull that tight so you've closed it, and then we're going to work in the round now. So because we're working in the round, we're not going to chain up or anything like that. We're just going to go as normal, and I'll show you what to do now. So basically what we're going to do our first single crochet into this next stitch, because we're not slip stitching or anything, working in the round. So I'm going to do 4 rows now of single crochet to start the first row, or round I should say. Always get my rows and rounds mixed up. So for the first round, we're going to put our hook into the very first single crochet we started with. I'm going to put a hook into there. Right, and then we're going to pull up a loop and do a single crochet. Single crochet. Okay, now I'm going to put a stitch marker in. I like to use stitch markers so I know where I am. And I'm just going to pop that into there. There you go. So we know where to start and finish. So now we're going to do 4 rounds of single crochet. So I'm going to continue going round. So just keep going into every stitch. Just do a simple single crochet like so, all the way around. And next stitch, and then make sure you don't go into the same stitch twice. Single crochet, and then single crochet, and then single crochet, and then single crochet. Okay, so you should have 8 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on a minute, let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, and then what you do now is you're going to work in the round. So that's the first round. Okay, so we need another 3. So for the next round, we're just going to take the stitch marker out, and we're going to do a single crochet into that stitch. There we go. Now I'm going to put a stitch marker back in there so I know where I'm at, and then continue the second round. So here we go, second round. Just put your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, there we go, into the next stitch, and you'll find it's going to start curving now. But don't worry, that's what we want. We want it to curve. So it's going to start to go like that. So that's perfectly fine. Just keep going into every stitch, and don't make sure not to go twice in the same stitch. So I'm just going all the way around like so. And all the way around again. And then you can start sort of curving it inwards so you can see where your stitches are. So there we go. This is my second round, almost completed now, just another couple of stitches. Single crochet all the time, and then into the last one, and that's round 2 completed. So take your stitch marker out again, and then we're going to go into that very first stitch there and do a single crochet, and then we're going to put the stitch marker back in. I'll show you where to do that. Back into that last stitch there. There we go. And continue. I'm on the 3rd round now, so we continue the 3rd round all the way around. Just a single crochet again, 1, 2, and so on. Okay. Right, and then of course you can put your finger in as I'm doing, so it makes it easier if you've got a small enough finger. and then into that one. And then there we go. So that's my third round, just one more stitch and then I'm completed on my third round. So that's my third round, and what I'm going to do again is just take out this stitch marker, do my last and final round. So I'm just going to, well, the last and final round of this bit here anyway, and then I'm going to put my stitch marker back in. There we are, and then continue again for this fourth round, final round of this part. Okay, so just try and get my fat fingers in there. Right. Okie dokie now. Right. Excuse the noise outside if you can hear traffic and stuff. Do apologise for that. Okie dokie, now that's the last stitch there. And right, there we go. Now, now that we've come to this part, I'm going to show you what to do. So we'll take our stitch marker out. That's the final fourth round. Take my stitch marker out. So you've got this little sort of cone effect, I guess, that kind of shape. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and do 2 single crochets for the last final bit. 2 single crochets in each and every stitch. So for the next stitch, just put your hook in and do 1 single crochet. I'm just going to put a stitch marker on there so I know where I finished off. All right, there we go. And then in the same stitch, we're going to do another single crochet. So that's 2 in that stitch. Now carry on and do 2 in the next stitch. So that's 1, 2. In the next stitch, 2 again. 1, 2. In the next stitch, 1, 2. Okay, and then carry on all the way round, 2 in each stitch only. That's 2 in that stitch, 2 single crochets. There we go. And that will give the brim of the flower. That would produce the brim. So that's 2 in that stitch, 2 in that one, right, 2 in that one. There we go. So once you've done that, you just take your hook out. What we're going to do, we're going to just actually take this stitch marker out. There we are. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off the yarn from here. Snip a bit of yarn off. Now what we're going to do is just pull that out like so. That's all we're going to do. And what we're going to do, we're going to do an invisible join, and I'm literally just going to put sew the thread through this very first stitch, and I'll show you what to do. So get your needle, grab your needle and put your tail end into there like so, Now we're just going to go into the back of this stitch here. You can see there. Into the back, like so. Okay, just pull it tight. There we go. Now what you're going to do is, now that you've done that, you're just going to go into this stitch here where you just came, the stitch that you just came out of, just there, which is just there. So I don't know if you can see, I'll do that again so you can see that properly. It's like an invisible join. It's better than just sort of having a knot there when you do the normal way. So I'm just going to go into the back of this stitch again here. There we go. Pull through, and the stitch that we came out of, which was this one here, see that one there, we're going to go into that again and take up a bit of the back of the brim as well and pull it through, and there you go. There you have your little brim, perfect brim. See, all the way round, like a little hat really. And then what you do now is you're just going to just take that out of the way, and what we're going to do now, we're going to sew this tail end into the brim somewhere, or inside the flower. So I'm just going to get my yarn and just sew it through anywhere would do. I'm just going to throw it through, sew it through there, and then through inside. There we go. And then all the way inside if you want. That's it. And I'm going to go in as far as you want really. Take that out of the way. Okay, that should be fine. Now what you do now is, you don't need these ends. I'm going to snip them off. Making sure you don't cut the flower. So I'm going to snip that off, and I'm going to snip that off as well. We don't need that. You can sew that in, but it's not going to come undone. Okay, so there you have it. Looks like a little hat, doesn't it? So that's very pretty, very cute. So now what we're going to do is, because when we actually put it all together, the brim's going to go up a little bit. So you're going to just sort of bring that up a little bit, and the back to go down, so you can see where the where you can see where these little antennae come out of. I don't know what you call these actually. So that's how it's going to look. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the middle bit now, the antennae. Well, I call them that because I'm not sure what they're called. So I'm going to show you how to do them. So what we do for this bit, we grab the green yarn. So I've got my green one, and all you need to do is grab a little bit of this, just a tiny bit. You don't need much, about, I would say about that much would be fine. And then you get your needle. Okay. And you're going to thread it through. Now I'm going to thread it through the top. Now what you do is just sort of pick up a bit of the yarn here on one side. Actually, you can go in from inside if you want. There you go. So go from inside. And once you've gone from inside, then you go to the other side and grab a bit more of the yarn and go inside again. Like so. So it's kind of, you know, it's secure now. You see? It's perfectly secure. Now what you do is you get one end of this, the yarn, and I'm going to do a little knot. So just going to do a little knot, and I think, yeah, just once. You don't have to do it twice. I did it once. And then what you do is you're going to size it up. So what you can do, because you can still pull it, it's still, you know, it's not secured to the point where you can't. So just pull one side until you get it the length you want. Can you see the length there? Right, so it's going to hang out a little bit. So I'm going to have a little bit hanging So that's what it's going to look like. So I think that's just about right. That looks perfectly okay. Maybe a little bit more. I'll pull it a little bit more, just a tiny bit. There you go. Just a tiny bit, just to see how it looks. So now once you've done that, you know exactly where you want to do the other knot. So I'm going to knot the other side as well. Just do a little knot as normal. Make sure it's brought up to the same size as the other side. There you go. I'm just going to bring that up. Maneuver it. There we go. So I'd say about there. That's fine. So it shows it's hanging out of the flower, and then you can adjust it again if it's not level. So I've done it now, and what I'm going to do is just trim them off so they're exactly the same size here. There we go. Right, let's throw that out. Okay, so now that you've done your two little antennae, I'm going to call them that for the whole of this video. Unless you know what they're called, please put it down in the description box below. That's how it's going to look, like that. There you go. That's your first two bits of the flower. Now we're going to do the leaves. Okay, so I'll just pop that aside. To do the leaves, you need two of these. I'm going to show you how to do one of them, and you can do the other one. I'm going to get my hook, and for this, what I'm going to do is chain up 4. So you just do a slip knot onto your hook. Right, leave a little bit of a tail end, and we're going to chain up 4. So I'm just going to pop that there. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, once you've got your chain of 4, what we're going to do now is in the next stitch, second from the hook, this one here, we're going to do a single crochet. So insert your hook and do a single crochet. In the next chain, we're going to do 2 half doubles. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 on your hook. Oops, there we go. And then again, another half double. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. In the final last chain, we're going to do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. 3 single crochets in that last chain that we just did. Now turn your work around this way now, because we're going to work down this bit here. Now in order to do that, we're going to do the same again on this side. We're going to do a because we've done 3 in this stitch, but in the next stitch we're going to do 2 half doubles again, just like the other side. So yarn over and into the next stitch, just here, making sure you don't go into that same stitch there. You want to go into the next stitch. We're going to do 2 half doubles like before. So 1 and 2. Oh, there's a bit of fluff there, sorry. Try and get it off. There we go. 2. So that's 2 half doubles, okay? And in the final stitch just here, we're going to do a single crochet. So just insert your hook there, do a single crochet. And now at the end, I like to do a chain here, because then it gives it a little bit of a shape to the leaf. And then all you're going to do now is slip stitch into the top of this very first one we did, first single crochet. So I'm just going to get my hook and put it in there, both loops there, and then pull through and pull through. That's a slip stitch. Now I'm just going to take my hook out like so and just cut the yarn like that. And then you can see, if I just, there's a bit of a tip of the Can you see the leaf's got a bit of a tip there? Just a little bit of a tip. Just tuck that way. Just a tiny bit from the chain one that you did. I like to do that because it gives it a bit of a point or a tip. Now, once you've done that, all we're going to do is grab our needle again. So grab your needle and we're going to thread that through like so. Okay, and now we're just going to go into this stitch here behind, thread through and thread through again through the back. Right, and I like to bring this all the way back up the top there, because that's the end we're going to be tying at this end. So I bring this strand right at the top. Just thread it through anywhere, like so. And you can do the same with the other one. It is at the top, but I'm going to bring it further up. So it's right at the end, as you can see. So that's going to go further up, like so. There we go. Right. So you've got your leaf shape there. It's starting to curve in a bit, and that's what I want. I want it to curve in like a leaf, you see. And then you've got the two strands, which we're going to tie together with the other leaf. So go ahead and do a second one of these, exactly the same. And I'll meet you back here when you've done two of these. Okay, so here we are. I've done my two leaves, and now what we're going to do, we're going to start attaching it to the flower. But in order to do that, what we're going to do first of all, I'm just going to pop that aside. I'm just going to tie the leaves together. So I'm going to take the inner strands of both leaves like so. Okay, and just tie them together like that. And get them into a position that you want them to be in. And I want them to be sort of like this position. You know, that kind of position. Okay, so just take them and tie them up together so they don't separate. Oops. Can be a bit fiddly at first. Right, there we go. So I've got them where I want them, and I'm just going to tie that now. There we go. Right, so I'm going to tie that again. Give it a double tie so it's nice and secure. Triple tie if you want to. I think that's fine. Okay, so now that you've done that, all we're going to do is do the other two strands now. We're just going to tie them together. So I'm just going to do a knot in that one. Okay, and I'll do it again 2 times, should be okay. There we go. So now what we're going to do is just going to cut these strands off here. These 2 strands we first tied. Just give that a little tug to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so once you've done these very first 2 strands, we're going to cut them off and leave these behind. Okay, so just grab your scissors and trim it to close to the end as you possibly can, but not too close, like this. There we go. Okay, so now you've got these 2 strands which we're now going to tie onto the flower, or sew onto the flower I should say. So I'm going to grab my needle, okay, and I'm going to thread one of these strands, let's say. There we go. So once you've done that, grab your flower, and if you're going to have it to the left or the right, decide which side, and then what you do is just sort of put this strand into the back of the flower, or the side actually, sorry, like so, and then sort of, you see, so that's my front of the flower, and this is the side coming into the sort of sort of quarter way up, a quarter way sort of into the back, and then just pull that through. Right, and then I'm just going to let go of this strand once that's pulled through. So, and I'm going to grab the other side, this bit here, and again I'm going to sew that through as well. So I'm just going to thread my needle like that, and then grab your flower again and go in the same way that you did with the first strand. So I'm just going to go into there and out there. Okay, just simple like that. So now that you've got your strand through your needle, all we're going to do right now is just to go into the back of the leaves again. So I'm just going to go and get my yarn needle and thread it through the yarn at the back of the leaf and bring that through, and do the same with the other. It's just to make it secure and not floppy. You want the leaves to be, you know, sturdy on the flower. So I'm going to go through the back of this one as well. Give it a tug, have a look and see if that's the right position. Yes, it is. And I'm going to go probably tie this up as well. Oopsie daisy. There we go. So once you've tied that up, you can go in a few more times. You can go backwards and forwards. Sorry, backwards and forwards if you wanted to. It's up to you. I'm going to do a couple of knots because I'm going to put a glue anyway, so I won't need to. So I've done a couple of knots there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just snip that off like so. Not too far to the edge, I've snipped it off, but just enough, and I'm going to use my glue gun for the rest. So your flower is completely secure there, and it looks really pretty. 1 second, there you go. So it's very secure, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it even more secure and put some glue on it. All right, so let's go. I'm going to get my glue gun. Okay, so I've got my glue gun. I've got it nice and hot, and what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you where to glue. So I'm going to just turn this round, and where I attached the when I tied the back end of the leaves, I've left a little bit there, so I'm just going to seal it with a bit of glue. Very, very tiny amount of glue. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want. If you think it's secure enough, you don't have to use any glue. But I think it's better if you use glue, to be honest. Just going to get my glue out. There it is. So now I've got a bit of glue. I'm just going to dab it on there, just a tiny bit. That's all you need, is a tiny bit of glue, and there you go, on that side. So that's got enough glue just to seal it. Now I'm going to turn it round, and I'm actually going to put a bit more glue just in there, just so that leaf lies more flat and secure. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just there. You see where the leaves are? Just in there, and very minimal amount, as you can see. I'm just putting a little dab, literally a little dab of glue. There we are. That's all you need. And then I'm just going to, there you go, stick it down. Now press down on that so it's nice and secure, like so. Right, I'm just going to take my glue off my hand. There we are. So that's perfect, and this glue, hot glue, dries really quick, so I'm just going to get any strands that are sticking around off, and there we are. So now that you've done that, that is completed. That is your flower completely completed. Now before we do anything else, I'm just going to make sure that's straight. So we've got our little dangly bits there straight, little antennae, there they are, nice and straight. And then you've got your brim, which I'm just going to flatten upwards, because then it gives it a nice impression of the flower. And there you have it. There is your beautiful, beautiful bluebell flowers with their leaves attached, petal and their leaves attached. Fantastic, wonderful little embellishment for any occasion really. And you know, they're fantastic. You can even make a brooch out of it, give it to your grandma or something for a present, a little brooch attached to her, you know, her jacket or something. Absolutely lovely little flowers, very quick, very easy to make, and I really hoped you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe and hit on the notification bell for more of my videos, because I have a few more videos on flowers. I've got many of these little different types of flowers you can make, and if you make a lot of them, you can add them as an embellishment onto for Easter or for any occasion really. Mother's Day, Easter, if you're going to make a little present for somebody, you can add these onto it as an embellishment. So please look at my other videos on my flowers, all made with the same sort of cotton. And I look forward to seeing you all here next time. Thank you very much for watching. Happy crocheting. Bye for now. Bye.